Community Chronicles Radio, brought to you weekly by Gannon University's Erie Technology Incubator. In partnership with the Corey Higher Education Council, the Erie Technology Incubator, located at 900 State Street, works in the entrepreneurial ecosystem and provides technical assistance through the entrepreneurial process. This show features members of this ecosystem and the entrepreneurs in the Erie area. Welcome to Community Chronicles Radio. As always, if you would like to ask us a question, either us or the guest, the number here in the studio, 814-679-1080. I am Dr. Matthew Plotz, and with me today, as always, is our courageous co-host, Steph Screws. Good morning, Steph.
Good morning, Matt. How are you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. Doing good.
This was a week, wasn't it? At the
Yeah. Yes, it was.
It seemed like we spent a month at work, but we got through it, and it's Friday, and we're excited about this show. Just briefly, what do we have going on at the High Ed? We're getting ready with the fall term. Students are coming back. NPRC and EC3. We're kind of like hitting the ground running with the fall.
Yeah, we've got like the kids back in session. It's nice to have more traffic at the High Ed, and things are starting up. And we've got a bunch of courses coming up in September. We've got the Dale Carnegie series. We've got autism class, nutrition links,
and Kathy,
career link.
Kathy was excited about one particular class, and she's here and signed up for one that I think is great.
I'm super excited. Just bought a house, so I'm doing the 9-part series for homeowners, so I can learn how to plumb and redo my electric and all that fun stuff. So super excited to start that in September.
It's a great show. Well,
Yeah.
Today's first guest is Bill Dietz of the Gannon University Small Business Development Center. We haven't talked about the SBDC yet on the show. Bill Dietz joined Gannon University Small Business Development Center in July of 2020. He is a marketing professional with over 39 years of experience in digital and print media environments. Bill is proficient in leveraging data and using analytics to create growth opportunities and marketing strategies for each of their clients. Welcome to the show, Bill.
Morning, Matt. Brad, Kathy, how you doing?
Hello.
Steph?
Yes, welcome, Bill.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. I look forward to sharing with you all the resources that the SBDC has to offer to not only our clients but any entrepreneurs out there that are looking for assistance.
Well, we'll start off by having you give us a little bit of background. And are you an Erie native?
Oh, yes. I'm very proud to say. Grew up on the Lower East Side back in the 60s and 70s when Hammermill and GE were, full throttle. Catholic education, Mount Calvary, went on to Cathedral Prep, graduated from there, went to Edinburgh to play football, and then life happened. And I had to get a job. So in 1980, I started at the Times Publishing Company. And I worked my way up through the ranks, and I was there for 40 years. Over the last 30 of those years, I held all kinds of management positions on the advertising and marketing side. But the last one I held was the business development manager, which was really cool because I got to work with data and a lot of different data sources. We were partnered with Nielsen, and it was eye-opening. And if you know anything about marketing, it all starts with who your target audience is, right? So, and finding out where and when they're consuming their news and information. So it was sort of cutting edge at the time, 15, 20 years ago. Now it's, you have to do it, right?
Exactly. Can you talk a little bit about your work with the Gannon Small Business Development Center?
Sure. I'm the City of Erie consultant. So I handle any city business that would want to, any startups, any currently looking for expansion, looking for, marketing assistance, financial assistance, capital. Currently, have 80 active clients on my list.
Wow.
And actually that's kind of down from summertime is usually a slower time because people are vacationing and things like that. But this summer's been pretty steady. which is good to see. There's a huge entrepreneurial spirit in the city of Erie. Let me tell you that. Actually met with the folks from the city yesterday. The fiscal year ended on June 30th. And in total, I think I assisted like 260 clients in the last fiscal year. So also as a city of Erie consultant, I work with all the ETI clients. So I get to work with Kathy and Brad, working on a number of different clients right now that they're getting ready for intake. I know that we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But yeah, we do everything, like I said, from business planning, assisting with business planning, to financial projections, marketing, financial management, marketing and sales, like I said. And I'm even on the International Trade Committee with the SBDC. So there's a lot of things going on here that, unfortunately, not a lot of people know about, which is why I'm happy I'm on the show, so I can share.
Right. I would have never guessed it. 80 clients. That's amazing. And you said that's a low mark for what you've done in the past. One question I have as we kind of drift away from the pre-scripted questions, with 80 clients, can you
Sorry, I don't know if Matt cut off or if you can hear me.
Can you hear me, Steph?
Oh, sorry. My internet connection was unstable. I'm sorry if I was talking over somebody. It went kind of dead on my end. I'm sorry about that.
All right. I was getting ready to ask Bill a question, kind of building off that. With 80 clients, are there any that are up and coming that we don't know about that you can talk about and kind of tell us what's exciting and coming up?
Well, as part of the SBDC, obviously there's a confidentiality thing going on that I have to adhere to, but I can tell you this. There are a number of different businesses. Every year there's something hot, something not. Right now there's a lot of interesting things going on. Obviously downtown, you're aware of that. There are some other larger businesses that'll be coming to town. There's working on a couple acquisitions where people looking to purchase a established business right now and looking to expand it. There is a lot of activity. Let's just put it that way out there.
That's great. And I can see it. I drive down State Street to the show every day. I just take a longer way to get here and just to see what's going on. Every morning there's a lot of activity, just even in the morning before the show. So it's exciting time.
Yeah, right down by you, there's a lot of development going on right now. And a couple clients that are down that way.
Now, if someone wanted to work with the SBDC, how would they start the process?
Sure. Well, first thing you want to do is, if you're not a client, you're going to want to go to our website, which is again at sbdc.org. And on our website, there is a request for consultation submission form. You go there and you would fill out that submission form and submit it based upon the address of your business or your address. You would be assigned a consultant. Like I said, I'm the City of Erie, so any City of Erie consultant client would come to me. It's really pretty easy to get in, and once you get in, a lot of times what we'll do is, if you are a startup business, we request that you go to our First Step program. We offer many different seminar and webinar series, but First Step is basically from the beginning to the end of how to start a business. Everything from your legal entity, your location, your name, state regulations, federal regulations, local regulations, marketing. It covers the whole gamut. So we highly recommend that our clients that are startups go through the First Step program first.
That's such a great program, Bill. We have a lot of our Beehive clients that we send over for that, because it's just so informative for startups that really don't know what they possibly might be getting into. Can you tell us when you offer the First Step class?
Sure. The First Step class is offered every second Thursday of the month. Here locally, I've been given, I'll be starting to give them in September. Again, I was out there for a while, but they rotate. 1 month it's early in the morning, 8:30 to 11:30. Then the next month it is 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Actually, it's probably the best 3 hours that you could spend if you want to learn how to start a business. And actually, it's a real good education about, do you have do you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of fun to give. I enjoy the engagement with it.
Yeah, Bill, what I love about that particular offering is we have a lot of companies that come in and they want to go from idea to great.
Yeah.
There's so many missed milestones and steps. And the harsh reality of, there's building blocks you've got to put together. And when they go to your course, they're a different startup when they come back to us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we really stress the fact that, your chance of being successful in business is 300% greater if you have and do a business plan, a good detailed business plan. And I stress that. And even if my clients aren't looking for capital or, going to go to a lender of any kind, I always have them work on a business plan because it's basically the roadmap to where they want to go, right? And I stress that. That's probably the number one thing that I stress with all my clients.
Now, can you talk about some of your biggest success stories at the SBDC?
Sure. Yeah. It's funny. I think the one that put not only our SBDC on the map, but all the SBDCs, there's over 700 nationwide, was the Undercover Billionaire Show, which out of that came, our friends from Underdog. That was huge. The way that I guess that it played out, I wasn't here then. I came in the year after, but when the Undercover blend came here, it was under the guise that they were doing a documentary on startups and the challenges that startups face. And they thought it was a natural fit to get with a small business development center. But that not only, like I said, that really brought a lot of awareness to all SBDCs and what they're all about. So that was kind of cool. Personally, on a personal level, some of my favorite ones, and these two both were when I first started in 2020, was Glass Growers Gallery, Emily, her acquisition, and then Dina at Pure Parista. That's an awesome story. And a lot of people didn't think that would fly. It flew, and it's flying higher. So I'm real happy about those two.
Yeah, if you look on the website, on the sbdcgannon.org website, there's a success stories list, and there are some real anchor businesses that it's in our common vernacular here in Erie all the time. You can just see the ones that are there. Ember and Forge is in the list.
Yep.
And you think of downtown with that. So there's some great stories here for sure.
Yeah. And, there's another one I have to mention because this is the first one that I put through a business accelerator. And she worked really, really, really hard. And it's Nyla's Daycare. Her name is Shatikwa. She ended up going through the Biz Accelerator. We got her all squared away. She opened up her business in like 3 months after the accelerator. And there's nothing better than going through a process like that and then doing the grand opening, right? And I'm happy to say, she is a 3-star right now. The reason she's not a 4-star is because of the facility. She's in a smaller facility. So that's one of my actual favorite ones. And one of the things that I really get a kick out of is watching them at first step and then doing the grand opening with them.
Now, can you go over the initial steps of your process?
Sure. Basically, what we do is, it depends whether they're startups. So with the startup, a lot of times after they do the first step program, we'll have them in for our first initial meeting. We'll discuss business plan development. I'll go over all the different what the expectation is there. We talked about the financial analysis and what we're looking for there, as far as like, doing the homework on startup costs and monthly expenses and things along those lines. We talked about legal structures, the different types. We don't recommend which one they should do. What we do is we refer them to the Penn State Legal Clinic out of State College, and they assist them absolutely free. The clients really like that. That's been a great relationship with them. Then we talk to them a lot about what they need to do for the state, for the federal. It's a lot of what we do at the first step, but get into more detail, if that makes sense. Then with expansion projects, usually with expansion projects, they're looking for more capital. So then, with anytime you're going for any type of capital, you have to have a business plan and the pro forma, the financial projections. So that's what we start working on then. A lot of times with that, they're looking to hire more employees. Okay, so now you start getting into HR work. So you're looking at employee handbooks, policies, things along those lines. So usually with expansion, there's a lot involved, but it's just not as much as a startup type of deal. And then there's acquisitions. If you're looking to purchase a business, and I've done probably 3 or 4 within just the last year, there's a lot of homework to do there too. You're going to want 3 years of tax returns. You're going to want a month-by-month P&L for the last 12 months. And then we take a look at that. We have them in. We don't tell them whether they should or shouldn't buy, but we just lay the facts out there, and it's up to them. So there's a lot of different things that we do here, and they're all, quite honestly, I get a lot of enjoyment out of helping these folks out.
Yeah, Bill, you bring up a really good point about the acquisitions. The valuation talent that you have at SBDC, I'm not sure if many know about that, but it's so important to have somebody certified that's doing that evaluation to safeguard, an investment either in you or one you're making in another company. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, Maggie's the one that is the expert in business valuations. We actually, the consultants here, we don't do quote unquote business valuations, but what we do, we have the business reference guide. And, when we get the numbers, tax returns, P&Ls, we can look at industry-wide what the ratios are, to EBITDA, to, things along those lines. And then we just do all the math for them, put it out there, and, here's what they're asking. Here's where they should be asking. It's up to you. So Maggie, though, is the official business valuation person. Yeah. And that's one thing else I'd like to mention. The resources that we have. That business reference guide is a huge help, not only to us consultants, but I think it really turns and helps the clients, make better decisions. We have all kinds of industry information too at the category level. We have D&B. We have there's a plethora of different databases that we have access to. Obviously, if you're a client, you have access to them as well.
That's awesome. So, Bill, this is Kathy, and I'm just wondering if you could kind of talk about how the SBDC and ETI work together to help startups in the area.
Sure. You could probably speak to that better.
I know, but you're our guest, so.
Yeah. Well, Kathy, many times I will get an email from Kathy saying, client, meet Bill. Bill, meet client. Client wants to get into ETI. We're considering him. Would you work with him? And then I say, sure. And send them a request for consultation, and the ETI potential client, fills that out, submits it, gets assigned to me, and we get to work. And with any ETI intake, and we have one next week, the client needs to have a well written and thought out business plan, a financial projection, and as well a pitch deck. And so we work on all three of those items. Then what they do, they submit that usually the Monday before the intake so that the folks that are on the other side and are going to be saying yay or nay get to review the packet, and then they go and present, and the board then either says yes or no. And we're getting more and more, it seems. Had one a month ago, and we have one this month, and I think we have one next month. So
Correct.
we're filling up those vacancies.
I know, right? Absolutely. And it's always a pleasure to work with you guys. The knowledge that you bring and the specific talents that you guys have to help startups, it's so beneficial for the Erie area. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I think so.
I would attune it to standing up a set of pillars so the business can stand on its own. And physically we're across the lobby at 900 State Street, and they go across the lobby sometimes and come back, and they seem like another pillar has been put into place, and they feel like, okay, the business is starting to stand up, which, to your point, ones that want to come into the incubator, they're like, I think I have my pieces together. I think I can present to a group of experts. Okay, and these milestones are very impactful to the startups that we started with. And although they're migrating and growing and working hard, the relief that they have every time they come back with a finished product is just an amazing thing to watch.
Yeah. And, I like, what, next week we have a graduation coming up?
We do. Absolutely.
I'm excited about that. Boho Basement Dead Threads, Mia, she was one of my favorites. She's going to go places. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, just to double down on that, Mia D'Amato has Boho Basement, and I think, what is she now, 26, 27?
Nope, I believe she's 24, 25.
Oh, I aged her.
She's
Sorry.
a baby.
But she had done exactly what we're talking about. She had worked with us. She goes across the lobby, worked with you, Bill, and continued to build her business model, not only to get into the incubator, but to continue to make decisions that were critical to her business. And she was tenacious, but I think she also really filled up your calendar, and it was great to see.
Those and the Glacier Boys.
Yeah, the Glacier Boys. That's another great story. There's a lot of good things going on with them as well. I hooked them up. And here's another thing I think people should know about the SBDC network. I actually hooked them up with the SBDC at Duquesne.
Correct.
University, and they've been working with the director there, Richard Longo, on some government funding opportunities, because those aren't easy. Those aren't easy to get into, and actually Duquesne and Richard are, for lack of a better term, the experts at it. So I guess that's been going very, very well, and I know that they have submitted an RFC. A bid, for lack of a better term. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that all pans out. Yeah, there's some great clients over there. I enjoy all of them.
Well, Bill, this is the fastest hour in radio. We're coming up on the news break at the bottom of the half hour. Just real quickly, I have about 30 seconds. If somebody wants to get into the SBDC, how can they do that?
And they want to go to the GannonSBDC.org website. Again, at the top of the page, there is a request for consultation tab. You click on that, fill out the submission form. Within probably 3 to 5 days, you'll be contacted. You'll either be told or asked to go to the First Step program, or you will be assigned a consultant.
I gotta go, Bill. We're going to the news. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks, Bill.
Yes, sir.
Bill.
Yep.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Community Chronicles Radio, brought to you weekly by Gannon University's Erie Technology Incubator. In partnership with the Corey Higher Education Council, the Erie Technology Incubator, located at 900 State Street, works in the entrepreneurial ecosystem and provides technical assistance through the entrepreneurial process. This show features members of this ecosystem and the entrepreneurs in this area. So I'm excited to introduce this entrepreneur for the second half of the show. Stephanie Clausen is the owner of Give a Crep La Creperie LLC in Erie. I have to tell you that if you haven't checked out this business, it needs to be on your to-do list soon. Welcome to the show,
Thank
Stephanie
you.
Clausen.
Hello. Well, thanks for having me this morning.
And
Sorry, I had to come to you via Zoom at the shop. So
That's fine. And thank you for coming back. I know we had a share of technical difficulties with everything last week. I appreciate you coming on.
not a problem. Third time is the charm.
Yes, welcome, Stephanie. Happy to have you on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can we? We'll just start off by having you tell us a little bit about yourself, and starting off with, are you a native of Erie as well?
I am not. I've lived here for 18 and a half years, though. So I've kind of gotten into my adulthood in Erie. But no, I'm a native of South Hills of Pittsburgh. So
Okay.
it's kind of where I'm from. Not too far away, but far enough.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, or?
Yeah, so I have a bachelor's I went as an adult student to Mercyhurst for hospitality management, specifically in front of house, so not even in culinary. And ended up, I now teach at Mercyhurst as well as an adjunct, but my kids have been raised. So I have two children, 18 and 16 now, who are the reason behind why I give a crepe about Erie. So I wanted a place where they could say they were proud to come from. And Erie at the time didn't have any creperies, so why not? But yeah, so I'm a mom. I adjunct teach at Mercyhurst. I run Give a Crepe. I think I cook okay food, but
It's delicious.
I'm going to leave that to the people to let me know where I can grow and what they enjoy. And then, I come from Pittsburgh and a family of fellow food lovers. So it's kind of in our blood.
So
But
what was it that influenced you to start this business? I know you were saying something about your kids, but what else? Was that the main reason, or?
No. So thank you for asking. When I managed a French bistro that was here, Bertrand's Bistro on North Park Row, I was bored one day. My front of house was good. My bar was good. And all of my front of house staff was great. And I asked to spin out a crepe. And it kind of looked like if Picasso sneezed everywhere. I loved it. So I talked with the owner and chef and a great mentor, Bertrand Artigue. And I said, we should do crepes. We should do everything crepes. And he was like, no, it won't work here in Erie. And I was like, no, you're wrong. So from there is where I started creating recipes, testing them out on my guinea pig children. And we came up with the menu, and I said, one day, maybe, sure, it could happen. And then I was managing Virgil's Plate on 6th and Cascade. Mm-hmm. And the owner asked me, he said, hey, you do crepes? And I was like, I have recipes. I have a name. And he was like, you want to do a pop-up in 3 weeks? And I went, okay. And that was 2016. So I ended up calling Bertrand and asking to borrow his crepe irons. And after the second pop-up, I was able to purchase my own. So I've always gone into it that this is an experiment. And the minute people stop enjoying crepes and stop coming in is when the experiment is all done. So yeah, that's kind of how it snowballed into almost 8 years later that I'm here. So yeah.
Now you have some big news coming up, right?
I do.
About your pending move?
So we will be closed. Give a Crepelet Creperie will be closed September 1st through the 9th. We'll reopen at our new location on 1909 Chestnut Street in the shops on Chestnut. And the old Copper Carriage, which have moved into a beautiful space on State Street, right across the street from y'all, actually. And so we'll be moving there. September 10th will be our opening day, and August 31st will be our last day open on Peach Street.
Wow, congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it was, again, serendipitous. I said, I'm all done looking. I'm not going to look at any property anymore. I'm going to just stay where I am. And I dropped off a crepe cake for an event for the composting company we utilize here in Erie. They were doing an event at 19th and Chestnut, and the owner, Rachel McCrary, she was like, hey, you want to come see a space? And I was like, yeah, okay, sure, thinking that it's this little, 8x5 space, and it's a beautiful space, and it's in that neighborhood feel that we love. It is close to our gardens that we utilize, the Sisters of St. Joe and Good Hill Farm, so it just put us more in what we love to do in neighborhoods that we really care about. We'll see. We'll see.
So,
but yes.
So, Steph, I think this is a good segue to the last question we have on our list, since she brought it up with Rachel over there at the shop. So, the last question, I guess.
Yeah, we had Rachel McCurry on the show a few weeks back, and she's a dynamic thinker. Do you have any partnership ideas with cooking with her?
I don't know with cooking with her. She has brought up discussing greenhouse and smoothie operations. And I always say, if anybody has a dream, they should follow it, out of kindness of your heart. Like, don't do something wrong or illegal. But with cooking, we just did a dinner, actually, at 1909 Chestnut. I do 5-course dinners throughout the year at empty spaces, art galleries. So this past one that I did, I have a friend from France who's also a chef. So we collaborated and created this kitchen. So Rachel and I have talked about putting in more of a commercial kitchen to give more opportunities to culinary interest for either catering or pop-up events. I was fortunate enough to start as a pop-up, and I'd love to see that come back, especially after the pandemic kind of halted a lot of that. So I know along those lines, those are the culinary attributes. And cooking, I don't know if she likes to cook and I like to cook. I mean, I'm good to share a stove, which, you know what I mean. So, yeah.
Now I'm looking at your website. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
It looks delicious, and I love crepes. Oh my gosh, and you have all these wonderful cakes that you make in different layers. And I was just wondering, what is your favorite on the menu? Do you have a favorite?
So yes, I've come to find out I do. I went to Utah this past Christmas time to visit my brother who lives out there, and when I came home, I was like, this is the one crepe that I want. And I ended up making a Miss Madame. It's one of my classics that has been part of the original menu from when I was just writing it out in 2012. So a Miss Madame is our take on a croque madame, which is a traditional French sandwich. So it's our tarragon ham, local egg cooked how you like it. I like a running egg. Some people like scrambled. That's beautiful. I can't do poached. In general, I've come to realize I'm not a poached egg cooker. It's a very difficult thing. And then, our Gruyere cheese and spinach. So
good.
Yeah, and because I do have personally a gluten intolerance that I try to fight with my love of bread, I end up making it on a gluten-free crepe. So that way I can, not want to pass out for the rest of my workday. But yeah, so I do the Miss Madame on our gluten-free crepe batter, and that's a winner ham lunch dinner for me. So yeah, hope that answered.
Hey, Steph, this is Kathy from the Erie Technology Incubator.
Hey.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I miss you on the Gannon campus.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the savory, the sweet, they were all so delicious. Yeah, and it was really great to just walk over and and get a crepe. So give a crepe, get a crepe. But my question for you is, so you are expanding, you're moving, you're enlarging, which is, congratulations. That's really awesome. So knowing what you know now, what is the main thing that you would have told your younger self starting out in a business that you wish you would have known?
Great question. I mean, I know you just had Bill on, and Bill's fantastic. I went into this so blindly, but thankfully with such good mentorship in my past that I had a lot of awareness of state and federal regulations that I needed to have in order to get things done correctly. But really working with the SBDC is integral. I am going to go against Bill a little bit because my business plan looks like a business plan I wrote when I was, in third grade. So it's not that great. What would trust your gut more? I mean, it's just really going for associations that are willing. Penn State with their free lawyers, and they're really doing the research on the avenues in which you can learn the most at the least amount of cost. And I know that sounds it's unfortunate because I know businesses are out there and there's consultants out there to make money and to have a living. And I appreciate that. As a small business who has never gotten a loan or any capital backing and done this all from the consistent growth of customers coming in, and listening to podcasts and mentors and asking other entrepreneurs in the health department, make friends, at least in my business, make friends with the health department because they are great. They love questions. They love them. Nothing to be scared of. So I guess when I was starting off, I wish that I would have gone the route of actually reaching out to these entities such as the SBDC, such as Penn State, prior to just save myself some time that I felt stretched very thin. And I think that would have alleviated some of that stretch feeling. But it really, sorry, the weather is not a friend of me. It's that would be my biggest advice to people, is to be able to reach out to these free avenues that are there to help you grow and to see what you can invest in. I mean, in all honesty, I started my business with the faith of and the kindness of an owner that I worked for, and $180 for inventory. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Good so, and when
wow,
that's what they said. It was an experiment. And always remember, something that I didn't do was account for myself in pricing. Not at I need to get paid $35 an hour, but at minimum wage. I believe that owners, when they start up, they need to be able to survive, but know that they need employees to survive. I can't do what I do right now without the staff that I've brought in over time, and the staff that I currently have right now. So that's all associated in cost awareness. So if you haven't had any business courses in your past, taking business courses or going into, the extracurricular activities of business knowledge is very advantageous, because otherwise you're just going to either outprice yourself or run yourself ragged trying to, work a job at 60 hours a week and then pay employee. You know what I mean? It's not sustainable that way, I feel. So, yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, no, yep, you totally did. And just to plug the health department again, Steph is totally correct. If we have someone coming into the Beehive, for instance, and they want to open a restaurant or they want to do a food truck, I immediately call Victor at the health department, and he is a great resource.
Oh, he's wonderful.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So they would love to help anyone. So, to your point, just go look for all those resources.
Not something to be afraid of.
Not something to be afraid of.
Oh, sorry. What was that, Matt?
Oh, they are not something to be afraid of in that space.
No.
You have that, thought maybe, they're going to be tough on me or this.
Nope. They would rather help you at the start than have to go in after the fact and say, "Oh, jeepers creepers, you're you're not doing this right at all."
And that was something that I had when doing my pop-ups at Virgil's. The health inspector, Lisa, she was our health inspector at the time. And that is where I learned, about the different avenues of licensing that I personally had to have, that Virgil's had to have to be able to do this from a state health department level, not even, sales or anything. So like I said, if I had taken, thankfully, I had the mentorship that I've had in my past. But if I had not had that, then the SBDC to talk about those state and federal legalities really comes in handy. Really comes in handy. So, yeah, yep. I don't know. What else do we have to talk about today?
We have a couple questions left. We have about 8 minutes left, so we have a couple things here, Steph.
Yeah, we have a couple of things. If someone wanted to find you on the web, where could they find you?
So we are on, and please definitely post about these. There are 2 apps, just because we do offer not only regular crepes with wheat flour, but we also do gluten-free. So our whole menu is gluten-free, all of our fillings. Our crepe cakes are always 100% gluten-free. Anytime I do dinners, they're always 100% gluten-free. So there's an app called Find Me Gluten Free that we are found on. Happy Cow, which is a vegan app, because we also do vegan and vegan gluten-free. And then, of course, our regular website, giveacrepe.com, Facebook, Instagram, Google, Yelp, TripAdvisor. If you really want to scroll down that list, we're at the top end of where the restaurants are listed. Not a lot of people are doing TripAdvisor reviews anymore. And then, of course, for our delivery, we do utilize the third-party delivery system, DoorDash. They have helped us immensely throughout the pandemic. They kept us open, being able to bring crepes to people safely. And so I've stuck with them. They've been a great way to get crepes out to the community for people who don't drive or anything like that. So yes, we have some different avenues, or just look up crepes in Erie, because we're still the only one. Anybody want to compete? I'm down. I'm down. So I would have to say giveacrepe.com and Google would be the best avenues to find about us, our menu, upcoming events, anything along those lines. Thank you for asking.
Well, I learned something new today too, because I always thought that crepes were only sweet stuff, but you actually have all this whole other menu that's not sweet. Like you said, you have the savory. So, and then I also hear go between, is it like potato? Is it a crepe? Is it a crepe? Is it I don't know how to say it. So can I say either way again?
You can. the name "Give a Crep," right, was a play on a word with a friend of mine who's one of my best friends, and she was a server of mine at Bertrand's. And we're both not from Erie, and we were like, we're two girls who give a crap about Erie, like ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Said in in a true French way, but in American slang and English, UK English, it's crepe. So saying, and that's why it's crepe Erie or creperie, because that is how it is actually spelled, is a creperie. So yeah, it's kind of, Erie was made for crepes, I guess is the way to think about it. But
Creperie sounds fancy and French.
Yeah. Well, the owner of Virgil's, when I first did my first pop-up, he had never eaten a crepe before. And I was like, dude, it's a pretentious burrito.
That's good.
With the fancy burrito. So, yeah, that's, it kind of breaks down that barrier. Like, French food does not have to be pretentious, but in the same regard, all food can be pretentious. So yeah, we're just a pretentious burrito, just hanging out, rolling around.
I know
So,
I know for myself, Steph, I had the same impression. It was a while ago now. I worked down in Corey, so I'm not in Erie very often. But we were going over there to the coffee shop next door, and like, oh, okay, stop and get this food. I thought it was all going to be sweet, and when there was a savory option, and that day I got the crab cakes. And if you ever if you ever bring that one back, let me know, Steph, because I might just skip work and drive over.
That one. So September savory crepe of the month will be the beef rôti, which is beef slow cooked in red wine with carrots, onions, herbe de Provence. And then I plan on bringing back the crab cake probably October. I'd like to do crab cake as a halfway in between, so June and December. I have Italian roots, so the Feast of the Seven Fishes. So seafood at Christmas time is very important to me. So Matt, what I mean is we'll see you in December. It's really
That's probably a good time. The roads might not be great, the hour drive.
It's fine. We'll have, watch this winter be like last one where it's super warm. Oh,
yeah.
So, but yeah, we definitely have the savory. Our salmon is fresh Nordic caught. We bring it in and we do a traditional gravlax. We don't have a smoker. I'll never have a smoker. So our bacon is pork belly that we bring in and we salt cure for 5 days. And our Nordic salmon is salmon that we bring in and it's salt cured. So it is not smoked. And then that is, delicious and addictive.
It's making me hungry.
Yeah.
I try.
I wish I could DoorDash you to the Corey Hayed, but I think it's still too far away.
Yeah, you might pay.
It's a little far. Yeah, I think you'd have to give a huge tip to the Dasher, and then they get a new student. That would be fantastic. But yeah, we yes. So that's, I don't know where I'm going with that, but okay. Savory.
Now, do you have any events that are coming up soon?
Yeah, because I like to overbook myself. So we open at our new location on the 10th. I overheard you speaking with Bill about expanding, and yes, I have realized I will need to hire more staff. So that's been a fun avenue of going through my training manuals from the past. But that Saturday, we are doing a 5-course dinner at 1020 Collective. So that's one of those dinners where I create a kitchen in a space. The tickets, it's always pre-registered. It's always BYOB. So the tickets to come to the event are on our website. And that one is called Swimming into September. So I have the appetizer will be oysters on the half shell with thyme-infused crackers and our house-made hot sauce. If you are vegan, then or a non-seafood eater, I mean, I guess you'd still want to not eat this, but if you're a vegan, then I've created a vegan oysters on the half shell Merriman. For the entree is seared scallops, or for vegan or vegetarian, that would be the king trumpet mushrooms. Pork chops with bone in. There will be a vegan vegetarian Merriman that's also gluten-free. Haricot Vert almondine, and then a chocolate mousse with caramel and raspberries.
Yes,
so that'll
please.
be happening on yeah, thank you. Nothing to do with crepes. So that'll be happening on the 14th, and it's at 6:00 at 1020 Collective. Tickets are either on my website. The 1020 Collective has a link on their website as well. Like I said, BYOB, come hang out. You get to see me cook, and you get to meet new friends in the community and chat. And it is family style seating, so you sit next to people you may know, you may not know, and then by the end of the dinner, you do know. So yeah,
That's just awesome. If you haven't had breakfast yet this morning,
I know.
like
I'm trying
I
to think how
haven't.
I can fit in.
right.
They open right after we
Well-
get done here.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, no, I'll be open. I'll spin out some crepes, and you just DoorDash them down to State Street there. So
Yeah, Joel's here listening. He's a
Oh yeah,
producer.
sorry, Joel. He'll get
Well-
it and then just send you mean pictures.
Yeah. Well, thank Well, thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah,
I always say
of
this
course,
is the
thank you.
fastest hour in radio, and we're at the end of the show today. And
Thank you.
I don't want to go without doing the dad joke of the day. This one, Kathy found right before the show started. How many stormtroopers does it take to change a light bulb?
I don't know.
None.
No.
They live on the dark side.
But
Yay, Star Wars. Yeah.
Stay right here for Lath and Tina and the Economic Pulse. We'll see you next week.
All right. Bye. all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.